and so I wanted to have a drink, and and just kind of like chill out and stuff like that, and because I am. We'll get into it later. I'm real intuitive, and so I read people. I'm very guarded, so I read people off the bat. I'm not just like getting to know a person right off, just all willy nilly and just like, oh, like that. I'm a real intuitive, and so, huh?
Go ahead.
Oh, and so like, I was real excited about that, about the whole flat Earth thing, and and so I kind of really wanted to meet Patricia because she was the closest one there, And so she texted me, and the guy the photographer, he came from Florida. He flew in from Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, oh, will you meet him because I'm running a little late? And I was like, okay, yeah, no problem. And so he got there and I met him and we sat it down and talked, and stuff like that. And he was really nice. I mean, he was a real nice guy and everything. We still keep in contact. He has his own little kind of like show that he does, and he's one of the ones that I keep in contact. I haven't talked to him lately, but but
And
like
so
he's like
he
one of the
got
ones that I
there, and
keep
I
in
met him.
contact besides you. And but like I've only had like one besides that one meeting with Patricia. That's the only I only had one other meeting after that with her,
Okay.
and that's the only two
Was
times I've seen her. Like after that.
well, was one of those was the interview, right?
Yeah, like like um a friend of mine lives in Houston. A girlfriend of mine lives in Houston, and she's not a flat earther. She listens to me, and she kind of like agrees with some of the things that I said, but she's not like a flat earther. But she's also an intuitive person, and she's real. I kind of like. She's been a friend of mine for a while, so and she knows what I've been through and everything like that. So like she like kind of helps read me, like she helps kind of like, I guess you want to say read me when there's things that I don't see, she sees.
Yeah, like a double check, a little help for
Oh
you.
yeah, she's real good at it. Like like she'll catch things that I didn't catch, and then she'll show it to me. I was like, oh wow, I didn't even see that. And then once she opens that up for me, I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, sometimes just somebody changing our perspective, the way we see things, just a little bit, really opens up a whole lot of revelation.
Right, and we do see things. Both she and I are both have been victimized kind of the same way. We have been products of satanic ritual abuse, that goes with my story and everything like that. And um, it's kind of really the first time I'm really putting a name to it because I'm starting to really understand it with therapy and everything like that.
Yeah, well, yeah, looking forward to getting into that because I've never heard, firsthand testimony to that before. So I'm very interested to learn about that. But so let's stay on topic with that mixer
Okay, yeah.
first. When what was your impression of Patricia or Pat when you first met her?
Well, it kind of goes back a little bit further because I have positions when I first see them.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like when I first saw her online, I I, I form an opinion, but mentally just by, like certain things that I see and stuff like that. And if there's certain things that I can't put my finger on, I try not to focus too much on it, but I let the spirit guide me, the spirit that has been with me all along, that guides me and helps me, it shows me in symbolic ways.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it takes a while, sometimes it's instantly, sometimes it's fast, so so when I first saw her, I was like, okay, I like the way she talks, I like that she's introducing us to flat earthers. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. She's introducing us to human beings.
Mm-hmm.
But there was also something kind of like deep down, deep inside that says, there's something else there. Keep your
Well,
eye on it.
I'll tell you what my reaction was. I was trying to be on time, but coming from Austin, it's a little bit of a crapshoot as far as whether or not you're going to hit it just right. But
Yeah.
I got there pretty close to the beginning. She was there already, and so I went through the doors of the restaurant, and I didn't know where the party was, and so I'm looking around, and I saw this person, and because of the red hair, I'm like, that's got to be Patricia. Um,
Well,
but
yeah, she
I was,
didn't
I
look
was like,
like the same person on the internet to me. I mean, like when I see on the internet, like she looked totally different to me.
yeah, she looked totally different to me, and I've got a little bit of personal testimony. My first wife, she did get into uh,
Sorry to break in here. We're just gonna take a second and maybe if you re-jump, you're breaking up, Jay. Can you guys hear me?
okay, I
Let me hear.
Yeah.
can hear you good.
Oh, okay, you're a bit better now. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, all right. Um, she started cosmetic day spa type places, and she started getting like laser treatments and chemical peels and getting lips.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to drop out and jump back on, Jay. Um,
Okay,
yeah, definitely. I can understand what you're saying. Her different facial features, they seem to
Well, here's the thing that a lot of people don't know, and I will tell them this. I've had a lot of different jobs in my life, a lot of different jobs. You name it. And how I get these jobs, well, that's another story. But like, I worked for a plastic surgeon for a little while. And I even got to go into the surgeries and see what he did. It was fascinating me. I loved it. And it was just like I've seen what facial resurfacing or chemical peels look like.
mm-hmm.
Definitely that has been done. I know what facial surgery, facial reconstruction surgery looks like. Definitely that has been done.
Yeah,
You know, I have done research, since things have been coming at me 24/7. I have a lot of dreams, and dreams also tell me things.
yeah,
Yourself, talk to a person. Okay, because sound is an interference. Sound is an interference. We're all able to, all of us, every single one of us, you, me, everybody that are human beings, that are real can intuitively talk to each other, spiritually talk to each other.
Yeah. Well, and we can adapt to our surroundings. We figure out the timing of things and adjust our volume and do all these different things in order to try to have the best connection with somebody that we can.
Right. You feel human connection, and that was another thing that I felt nothing with that. With every time that I've been around her, there's nothing there. There's no human connection. No, you can just stare through it. You know what I'm saying? You can see, and so what that tells me immediately that that's not real. That's not a real human being. Some people don't like the words clone or robot or whatever like that. I'll call them synthetics because they their skin is human like because they in order to make these synthetics or clones or robots or whatever they are, they have to they are human like, they feel kind of human like but not really. Once you touch them and really get a good touch of them, you can tell.
Oh, that just clicked with me because you mentioned that when you were doing that interview, you touched her, right?
You're right, and she did
And
not like that, and
she did
neither
not
did the
like that.
handlers. See, they have to have handlers, and they always have to have handlers around. And anytime I said something or did anything, or anytime I wasn't triggered, the way she wanted me to trigger, because I was already alerted. And
Yeah.
if you turn down the sound and you just watch me watch her, my eyes are constantly just scanning her, scanning her, scanning her, scanning her, scanning her, and she saw. See, they can see it fucks with them when they run across people that can see them.
Hmm. It's like they live, right?
Exactly. Exactly. That's the best way to explain it, because it's so hard to try to, say, well, it's a spiritual thing. It's a spiritual thing. It's just like they live, except for my eyes. I don't have to put on glasses.
Hmm.
When they run across people that you've been awakened or you wake up, that's what that means. Is that you have the eyes to see, but you can still be deceived by them because they look like us, they talk like us, they mimic us. And see, that's that I had the realization of why does she interview all these flat earthers, or she interviews both. She interviews not the real ones, and then she interviews the real ones, but she interviews the real ones to mimic, to get
Yeah.
traits,
But
to to
have you seen the way she treats the real ones, the ones that are really looking for the truth?
oh yeah, she did. See, that's the thing. I remember the realization of why about a year ago, there was people coming out saying, "Oh, it's mind control. It's mind control. It's a mind control operation. Flat Earth is a mind control operation." Well, in a way, it is
Hmm.
with them, because they use mind control to deceive. Anytime you deceive, that's wrong. It's a deception. Just be what you are. Be what you are. And here's the thing with synthetics: when they create these synthetics, they're always transgender. They're always. It's not sometimes, maybe a little bit. They're always transgender because they're satanic, and they serve Baphomet, which is the transgender satanic god. You know what I'm saying?
I do. Well, I mean, if you look at the
And they're
video,
very
if you
deceptive.
if you,
Oh, she plays that pretty role. She's even, they mess with you. They mess with you mind wise. They mess with you mind wise. Like, She's never brought up the word trigger before, and I just noticed in her last thing, she brought up the word because they want to say it before you do.
I
Do you
got you.
understand what I'm saying? They want to say it before you do. They're experts at mimic. Look how she looks different like that. She looks different. Anybody that takes the flat earth rose colored glasses, because she's using things like the love of animals to get emotion. You know what I'm saying? That evokes emotion.
Hmm.
And the demon that controls her, or that is in her body, that controls her, or it, or whatever you want to call it, because we got to get out of this mindset of calling these things humans, because they're not humans.
When
And I don't
the when the
care
ring
what you are. If you
when
want to be, if you're a man and you want to be a woman, and that's what you want to be, then fine. I know transgender people. I have transgender friends,
yeah,
but they publicly tell everybody that they're transgender. They don't hide it.
yeah. Well, I was just gonna say, when the ring finger is longer than the index finger, there's a 94% chance that you were born a male. Or no,
True,
96% chance.
true. But see, I'm a woman. Okay, I'm gonna come at you from a woman's perspective, and this is the part that I appreciate a man's perspective. You're giving the man's perspective, but I'm coming from a woman's perspective. And women are emotional beings. Men are thinkers.
Hmm.
Women are feelers.
Yeah, that's true. I'm totally a thinker and not emotional at all.
Exactly. So I connect with the emotional side. You connect with the thinking. You're visual. You look at her, you see something ain't right, but you can't connect with that emotional part
No.
because you're a man, and that's the way it's supposed to be. You have a penis. You
Yeah.
don't have a vagina. You have a penis, and
Yeah,
you don't want a vagina.
and I don't dress up like
That's
a
not
woman or
your
anything like
that's
that.
not the satanic thinking that you have. You don't have the satanic thinking. A man wanting to be a woman
Yep.
is satanic mind control.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Totally. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
I was blocked from joining the amazing call that you two are having. Um, and what's weird is like no matter how much they try, and what I was going to ask you, Teresa, was what do you do to cope? Because at the end of the day, I have my faith, and I don't mean a religious faith, because I don't prescribe to any religion. I follow the oral and the canonical scriptures that have been left behind by the Father in heaven. So what do you do to cope with the attacks? Because I've been under some serious attacks this week.
Well, I've been under attack all my life. So, um, and yes, this past week I've been under financial attack. I had my car towed
I,
over
I,
some crazy stuff. So, and it cost me
me,
$300.
me, me too. I'm going through
Uh,
I just want to say I filed for divorce from my
uh,
wife, and she wants everything, like literally everything, so that I don't even have a shirt. Um, and and then my attorney called on the way to work yesterday, and I
mhm.
answered the phone, and immediately right there was one of the motorcycle cops, and it's a $220 ticket for,
Oh,
and like, oh, I haven't been pulled over in 20 years plus, and
well,
Yeah, so it's raining fire right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, because see, this is the thing. Those spirits that like I said, it's a mind control thing. This is a spiritual war,
Yes.
and but they can affect reality.
Yes.
And so like these spirits don't like to be outed.
Mhm.
They don't like to be outed.
Do you,
They really don't like to be outed. So
do
I
you,
don't have nothing bad to say. I'm not going to sit here and say, like talk bad about, oh, she's a demon and da, 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 da,
no, I was going
because
to say, how about we move on? We sort of covered how we met. We did talk about. It came out pretty quickly that both of us were raised Jehovah's Witness,
oh yeah, that's
and
that's the whole big thing.
and maybe we can go into that later. But I really want to hear your testimony as far as the satanic ritual abuse because I really don't know much about it. So maybe if you could sort of fill us in on what that is and what to watch out for and the things that you've learned along the way that could serve as a protection for people.
Okay, well, first I have to say this is that like some of the stuff that is going to be said here is not meant for younger people to hear. I mean, it is true reality and it is really happening, but I mean, I just don't think that if there's anybody kind of children or young people listening, I always give a graphic warning, hey, listen, if there's kids in the room, they need to kind of get out.
Yeah, that's thank you for sharing that.
But I had to say that first because I always look out for children first. So, but yes, I was raised a Jehovah's Witness, but in a different environment from yours, which it was a satanic ritual, MK Ultra mind control um, environment. I am starting to tell my story through after years of a lot of therapy, and my therapist thinks it's a good idea. She don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, well, I think yeah. So I've been through a bunch of studies, and one of the things is when you can really confront something, talk about it in open air. To me, that is a sense that you have conquered that fear, that issue. Um, so you've got mastery over it to be able to do
Right.
such a thing.
Well, now, don't get me wrong, like a lot of people get fooled by that when they're just listening right now to this kind of type of interview. They're like, oh, well, how can she just easily talk about like that and stuff, like a man, you don't know the tortures that I've been through. It would take too long to go through the pain and suffering and literal pain and suffering that I've gone through, starting from infancy.
Well,
So,
do you
and
want
it
to
starts from infancy.
do you want to share with us what you're comfortable with sharing?
Yeah, I don't mind sharing anything. I've already come to acceptance. You know what I'm saying? Once you come to acceptance and you get to, then you start opening up and seeing new things, and a whole new world opens once you get rid of that fear. Fear is what controls everything. That's
I
how they control everything is through fear. Fear
absolutely,
is it.
absolutely.
And when you throw in abuse with fear, abuse is fear, but it's like it can be active too, like it's mind control, physical control, mental control.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to control the mind first before you can control the body.
Hmm.
But they,
Yeah.
yeah. So I've never been a victim of that, but um,
Well, thank you, Jesus.
So
But you know what? It's good that you're trying to understand it and you're not discounting it. That's the thing that survivors want people to understand. Don't call me crazy because of the things that I'm fixing to tell you are unbelievable. You know,
no,
that's all survivors want is to be believed.
right. Oh man, there's so many things that I see in the world now that well, I'm constantly not believed, because of being a flat earther. One of the first things that my soon-to-be ex-wife told me was that she's going to bring this up in the trial, and that I'm going to be humiliated and shamed and looked down upon because I believe the Earth is flat.
All
And
survivors want.
yeah, right away going for the shame.
Yeah, of
And
course.
I sort of laughed. I'm like, okay, let's put flat Earth on trial at the same time because I can defend that too. So, what would you where would you like to start with your
So I
story?
guess it'll start with, I guess, me growing up. Like my mom wasn't always a Jehovah's Witness, and I probably think initially she was under my control as well because I don't know much about my mom. All I do remember is that like she was married one time before my dad, and evidently her husband was killed in a car. I mean, a motorcycle accident. He was a military man. My dad was a military man. So that's the only story I know about my mom. That's it. Other than her being involved with Jehovah's Witness and her being accepting and putting us in a position to be satanically ritually abused, and to be all a part of that, she upped us. You know what I'm saying? She gave us up. We were the sacrifice.
What age would you say you were when she started practicing Jehovah's Witness,
Well, I
Izzo?
was, far as I remember, I was born into it.
Okay.
But see, but I think my dad was the initial starter of it because he was in the Air Force. So I think that my dad was like, basically they breed they have families that just do this. They have children where they satanically ritually abuse them, and they either they put them either in the sex trade, or they put them in Hollywood, or they do all this kind of stuff. And so like we were just one of the families that happened to be like in that.
Yeah. So yeah, there's been a number of famous Jehovah's Witnesses like
Michael
um,
Jackson,
Michael
Prince,
Jackson, Prince, the
weren't
black
real Jehovah's Witnesses.
the black girl from Save the Bell was Jehovah's Witness. I actually
Oh yeah,
met her.
yeah, yeah.
You remember that?
Yep.
Um, I know that on YouTube, the Enter the Stars guy used to be a Jehovah's Witness. They seem to pop up pretty regular. Like,
Well, I do remember at that meetup there was other Jehovah's Witnesses there.
mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. But really that's where like all the mind control came from, was from the Jehovah's Witnesses.
So was it elders, ministerial servants, or just regular people within the congregation, or
Yeah, like it was mainly, like they have a hierarchy, and it's just like a triangle. You could you have you're better at expressing about Russell Tay's dude being in the Illuminati, and I can't say
Yeah,
that word well.
yeah. Let me interject that real quick because I have done the
Okay,
research on this. The Jehovah's Witness religion was founded by Charles Taze Russell.
right,
Russell is the name Russell is one of the 13 Illuminati bloodlines.
right.
The Russell family is also responsible for the Skull and Bones Society, the 322. They founded that. If you look at the founding documents, it's the Russell Trust that created the Skull and Bones Society. So Charles Taze Russell was Illuminati. He's buried in a Freemason um, Rosicrucian like cemetery. The the Watchtower Society has a pyramid with a capstone, and the I'm trying to think. It's another one
They
of the secret
totally
societies.
deny that. They totally deny that.
Well, here's the thing. Just go back to Charles Taze Russell. His first book that really took off was, I believe, it the Unfinished Mystery. And
Hmm.
if you look at that, all the predictions for 1914 as being, the end of times,
Hmm.
the way he came up with that was through pyramidology. Supposedly, he went to or just studied the findings of people that studied the pyramids in Egypt, and based on measurements of tunnels and hallways and stuff like that, he came up with the calculation of 1914.
Hmm.
Now, Ronnie and I don't know if you've noticed this. Ronnie put out a video. There are no pyramids on the flat Earth. They're all Freemason sandcastles. The pyramids are a hoax. These things were built in like the 1850s, and they did a really poor job doing it.
You mean poured poorly?
Poured poorly, yeah.
Poorly.
Yeah, I mean it's poured in place. It's not cut granite stones that the so the pyramid's a hoax, and then you have right around the same time. So the 1850s, I think it was like 1876 or something around there that Charles Taze Russell started his ministry, and then he ended up writing that book. And he set the date 1914 based on measurements of these pyramids that were just built, 30, 40 years ago. Um, so you start to see that this is just a satanic guy, just like uh, Joseph Smith of the Mormons was a Freemason, and the guy behind Scientology was also, I mean, he was like best buds with
Oh,
the.
yeah.
So these were all Satanists. All these new religions that popped up in the last 100 years or so, they were Satanists, Freemason, like the occult, like, but not good occult, not just hidden mystery. We're talking about satanic hidden mystery. So I don't get down on the Jehovah's Witnesses too hard because I do know that a large portion of the people that attend their services are truth seekers. And they actually lead a relatively difficult life because they do give up all the holidays, and they are scorned. Like the
But,
scripture,
but
like
here's the deal. That's just an underhanded. That's just an underhanded way of saying satanic ritual abuse. Just because it's not sexual, I mean, it doesn't always. See, this is the thing a lot of people have a confusion with. It's a lot of them think that satanic ritual abuse means it's all sexual. No, 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 no.
well,
Like that's abuse. Like when you tell a kid with Jehovah's Witnesses, you can't celebrate any holidays or anything like that. Now, okay, so like you go to school as a young Jehovah's Witness kid, and all the kids are celebrating Valentine's Day.
Mhm.
And so a little kid comes up and they hand you a Valentine, and it's a little boy, and stuff like that. And it's just human nature to be crushing, oh, he gave me a Valentine. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. But since you're Jehovah's Witness, you got to publicly scorn yourself and subject yourself to ridicule, which is abusive. See, that's self abuse right there. It's teaching you self abuse where you got to tell a kid, I can't take that. Well, why? The other kid don't understand why. Why can't you take that? Well, I'm a Jehovah's Witnesses. Well, what?
Well, I gotta say that I don't agree with you on all of that because there are things like Christmas. It's obvious that Jesus wasn't born on December 25th.
I understand that, but
We
that's just I understand what you're talking about right now. I'm telling you, what you're talking about right now is the mindset that they put in Jehovah's Witnesses to say that just exact same thing right there. You let's. I'm not talking about Jesus's birthday. I'm talking about what they're doing to little children. They're starting with children. Jehovah's Witnesses are
Mhm.
starting with children, and it starts with that. You know that children are cruel in school. You know they are.
Mhm. But
Kids can be cruel. It's why do kids commit suicide? Because they're harassed at young ages. Come on.
I do feel that what I went through has
So, sociologically, you want to be accepted by your peers. You want to be starting with children and by your peers, and you're made different as a Jehovah's Witness, and you got to be made the spectacle to be made different. Because even your birthday, come on, you can't celebrate your birthday. And you can't take any gifts or anything. And even as a child, when you see other children getting things and getting gifts and stuff like that, then psychologically you want that too.
well. See,
You know,
I never did want it, and I do appreciate the lessons that I learned from it because now here I am on YouTube speaking live, talk, saying that the Earth is flat. So right away, 99% of the world thinks that I'm stupid, and then for the 1% of people that know that we're on a flat stationary plane, they've fallen for that model with the sun and moon doing circles over an AE map, and I don't agree with that as well. So now all of a sudden, it's 99.9999% of the entire world, that thinks I'm stupid, but because of what I went through, being raised Jehovah's Witness, I can take that kind of abuse because I've been prepared for it.
right.
It doesn't bother me. I'm willing to stand up for the truth regardless of what
Okay,
anybody
listen
thinks
what
of
you
me.
just said. I'm going to tell you what you just said. I'm going to stop you right now, Jason, okay? Because you just said
Yeah,
something I
percent.
don't think you know that you just said it. You said you can put up with that type of abuse because you've been
Okay.
prepared, right? Because being a Jehovah's Witness, you're prepared from taking ridicule and stuff like that. They teach you about being
Oh yeah.
ridiculed, and that you're going to be ridiculed, and how to take it and how to talk about it and how to come back with something right there. And
Mhm.
that's still, once again, we're going back to that's still
It's abuse.
ritual abuse.
Yeah.
It's abuse. Just because you've been brainwashed to think that it's not, because you sit there and said, "Well, I didn't think like that. I didn't want things like that." Yes, you did. Because you can't sit there and say that you didn't want those things, because the ideology until unless you know what I'm saying, unless you just got so much love at home But I understand Jehovah's Witnesses and children are kind of second rate. They are second rate.
Hmm. All right.
The
Yeah.
structure does not change. Women and children. This is how it goes. Men control everything in the congregation. The ministerial servants, the elders, all those are men. Women fall underneath that. They help the men, but they don't get the credit. They can't get out there. I've known sisters that have wrote out full meetings out for their husbands that
Hmm.
were elders because they were research geniuses.
Yeah, but they would never be able to speak it in front of the congregation.
But they would never be able to speak. My mom would do, they let the women do that things like do little skits and act like they're going from door to door and doing stuff like that. But as far as getting up and speaking, oh hell no, that ain't happening. And it
No.
definitely ain't happening with the kid. The kid ain't gonna get up there unless he's a male. It will never be a female.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's
Do you agree or disagree with that?
no. It's true.
Okay,
There's
so that's it. That's part of it.
but there are
You're not
there are
equal
interesting.
in the eyes of Jehovah if you treat your family like that. So many Jehovah's Witness females put up with abuse, but it's because they're taught they cannot
Yeah.
divorce their husbands or leave their husbands because it would bring reproach upon Jehovah and his peoples and his name. So you got to stay with it. Okay,
Yeah.
they don't do drugs or nothing like that, but I'll be damned if they don't drink alcohol.
Yeah. There's interesting things to study though from the scriptures. Interesting to note that Jesus disciples
This is a
they
cult, and
they
there's
were
nothing
all men.
good you can find in a cult because a cult means hidden. And I know that you want to, I know that you want to find it in there, but there's nothing good. There's nothing good that can come out of it because
Well,
it's
I know people that have been sucked into it because they were looking for the truth.
I you're breaking up. I didn't hear you. Hello.
Drop out and
Yeah, you guys are both a little bit crackly, but the message is getting through. Teresa, I do think you have some really valid stuff, and I really appreciate you sharing it. For me, I know that I have been abused, let's say, in my sleeping, and they attack you multiple ways, especially these trigger type things. So, again, what do you think is a good way to combat the attacks from the ritual abuse?
Well, for one, you got to accept that these spiritual things are happening.
Mm.
You got to face it. You got to say this is happening, and this is how I'm going to combat. You can't. People think that they can fight this physically, and they can't. This
Mhm.
isn't a physical. It comes out physically by through the attack, so people see that that's the physical thing that they can see, like is by you getting a ticket, for no reason at all, or you having to come off of money, or your your life just being messed with, or something like that. I mean, even having allergy attacks and stuff like that. Stuff could have that could be, attacks against you. You getting sick,
Hmm.
and all that stuff. And the only way that I've been able to do it is through deep meditation and prayer and getting to know
having to come
myself.
off of money or
That's how I've been fighting it. And prayer works, and meditation and concentration and being with yourself and by yourself and going deep within and talking to yourself.
Hmm.
You're not crazy if you talk to yourself.
Can you share your experience again, Teresa, that you told me as far as the chemtrail video that I put out?
Oh yeah. You put out a chemtrail video and talking about that these what we see is not really what we see. It's a spiritual thing. It's an entity. It's a demon,
Yeah,
and it's dropping more demons.
yeah.
It's dropping. It's just spewing itself about the sky, and and it and it's showing you that an attack is imminent. It doesn't mean
I, th-
that the
I
attack is necessarily on you.
Teresa, I think
But
maybe
That
if you should rejoin again. Do you know how to do that to drop out and jump back in? Because you're speaking some great truth and it's so crackly, and I really like to get your sound. I think sometimes it refreshes it. If you
okay? So what do I
copy
do?
copy the
I
link at
drop
the
off
top.
with the red thing and then come back on.
Yeah, copy the
we'll just
link.
end this call
Okay.
and go back to Skype and click that link again.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Um. So Jason.
Yeah,
Um. Yeah, you sound a lot cleaner. Um. The interesting thing that the timing of this is coming up. I definitely think that the attacks have been rampant. Have you noticed any this week?
yeah. It's been really intense.
Okay.
Here, yeah, she's back.
You're better.
Is that
Ro- Ronnie just asked me about like demonic attacks, and I'm seeing them all over the place in the ways that you were saying, Teresa. It can be like an out of the blue, like allergy attack, or your back going out, or things like that. And so many people say, "Oh, we're just blaming this on demons and stuff." But once a person reaches a certain intuition, like you were talking about, how you can read a situation, you can read a person, and you know that the read that you're getting is true and accurate, and then your intuition tells this is an attack from outside. This is something that's against you, and what we're coming across, Ronnie and I, what we've been saying, the globalists. We talked about the things that were promoted from one show that they did,
Yeah.
and yeah, it is Satanism. These are Satanists, and I made a video that pointed out that that does not look for salvation through Jesus, Yahushai, um, you're on one team or the other, and so the people that stand up for, that are spiritual, that are looking for the truth, those are the ones that Jesus,
Mhm.
Yahushua, is calling to him. And then the other ones, they are just on Satan's team, and all we have to do is look around the world
Yeah.
and that Satan's just made a mess out of it. It's he's really turned it into what is, it's such an incredible, beautiful place.
Hmm. Yeah,
He's got
he's
all the
totally.
wires hanging on the ground, and
Mhm.
go ahead, Ronnie.
Yeah, no, he's totally made a muck of it. Hiding free energy. What else? Charging people for water. The list goes on and on, including like fake space. You got NASA. You got, the truth has always been right here in front of our eyes, and I just hope that, I hope that we get the chance to explore more ways, because being like Teresa, how she's been through the satanic ritual abuse and she's broke out. I truly hope that we as a complete race, not just flat earthers, everyone can get out of this rut we're in. I guess we're all back and clear, so I'll let you guys take back over. I just, if anybody's ever dealt with ritual abuse or they feel like they need someone to talk to, I'm always available. I always check my messages, so please, yeah, get in contact
Me
with me.
too. Me too.
Sweet. Okay, I'll let you guys take back over.
Yeah, so hopefully the sound's a little better, Teresa, because really sort of want to, learn from you this, because, like I said,
And please don't
experience.
let me. When I say to you, like, I'm not trying to like make you feel bad or anything like that, but I do see a lot more, and I've been through, like the bad part of what a lot of people don't see. They don't see the things. Many of the Jehovah's Witnesses are just like you were. Like they don't see that. They don't experience that. They don't get that. And and I don't blame them for that, because in a way that's kind of another form of mind control. I mean, you can't blame them for that. All you can do is say, no, look at how this goes down, and this isn't real. This isn't what humans are meant to do or supposed to do. Biologically stuff. Once again, I'm always going to come from the female perspective because I'm a female.
That's good to hear.
And
Haven't come across too many in the flat Earth community. Once you take out Pat and Lori.
yeah, I pegged her from the very beginning before even Patricia came along. So,
Oh,
pardon?
uh, so you said you pegged her. How? What did your intuition tell you?
That she was this wannabe human being that's a transsexual, that's a tranny, and she's a disinformation agent. I mean, she's they have different functions. Like those two had different functions.
Mm-hmm.
And they always kick up drama. That's the thing that they do, is they like to be in the midst of drama. Here's another thing. This is another thing I was going to say real quick about that. I hated to digress about that, but since I have it on my mind, I got to say it. Like, these people like Patricia Steer, that are not real humans, they use things to mimic humans, like having three cats and having pets. And see, since I physically met her, I know certain things. I've had cats. I've had two cats. You know what I'm saying? I had them for like a long time. Literally had my cats for like 24 years.
Oh.
Oldest cat, when I had to let him go and I adopted him out, he got adopted out, and he was a 24-year-old cat, and he was still kicking. So I know a lot about cats and animals and stuff like that. And not one cat hair was on this woman.
Not one. Yeah.
Okay, hair.
How can you have a
Anybody
cat?
that knows and has cats and stuff, even if it's a hairless cat, you got three cats, two of them being light cats. They have light hair.
Yeah.
Okay, and now I don't care even if you had the best mega roller,
Yeah.
where you can get cat hair off.
There's gonna be cat hair everywhere.
There would be cat hair somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah, and I know that men.
Another human thing, another human trait. If you're going out with somebody and you're in love with them and you're getting ready to marry them, and all of a sudden it breaks up and and in 2 weeks you're out of there and you change your whole life, you would have some kind of feeling, some kind of, I would be hurt, I would be crying, I would be upset. Some women get kind of vindictive, some women, but nothing. You go all the way to England
Mm-hmm.
and you take yours, you transfer your so-called cats all the way to England and everything to be with this man and marry him. Put on social media that you're getting ready to marry him. Oh, congratulations, you're happy for this person. Some two flat earthers are getting together and love. And I mean, how would you feel if your wife, was totally behind you on being flat earth? Tell me, how, as a human being, how would you feel if your wife came behind you and was like totally behind you?
I couldn't imagine what it'd be like to have support, other than what I've had from Ronnie. But that's it's not a sexual thing. Like to have the person that you lived with, male, female, that were in union, um, and if we're working together
The short
to
period
share.
of time is going to tell you something too. That's questionable too. Suspect.
What's that?
I said the short period relationship, and then they're going to get married. That short period of time is suspect.
Well, I thought I saw a bunch of videos on YouTube that were suggesting that Antonio was gay, and then
Yeah.
sort of knew that Patricia was a tranny. So that it
Yeah.
just
Oh,
made to me, it made sense to me that it was a
Well,
man gay relationship.
yeah. Well, and just to interject
that could
quickly,
be it too.
can you hear me?
But I mean, like, it's still, there's a lot of unanswered questions, and that raises flags for me.
Mm-hmm.
And just to interject here, guys, you got Lori and Lawrence, and then you got Pat, um, and they're both unisexual names. You got Pat Steer with the girl with a gun, no pun intended,
That
literally,
girl with the gun.
or whatever her store was. And I think that these satanic, uh, twisted people, I think they like to do it right out in the open and
They
mock you
have to, Ronnie.
like
You're bingo. You're right. They
like
have
when
to. They have to say these different things, and stuff like that.
I remember
I don't know the exact positions or names that they play. I don't know. I don't give a rat's ass. Just don't try to deceive me and try to include me into this stuff. You
yeah, and
know,
I
don't
remember
don't try to make me fun and trigger me. Trigger knowing that I've been satanically abused, and stuff like that. And you're supposed to be talking about flat Earth, but she wants to bring up the fact about me being a Jehovah's Witness, trying to trigger me.
mhm, totally. And I can remember all the triggers that I had from Lori and from Pat. And it's funny, I remember I was a fan of David Weiss, and I remember he at one argument he said he bleached his anal areas. And I was like, whoa. Like I remember I was instantly turned off, and I think there's a trend going with these people, and the way that Pat said, if you're here to make money, after I just finished saying, the last thing I'm here to do is to make money, like I go broke because I want to speak the truth, and she's just out here to try and protect that their money, really.
Well, here's the deal, though. I don't know about anybody else. I can only speak for my experiences and what I've seen and what I felt. Okay, I've never physically met these people or had any kind of experiences or dealings with these people. The only two dealings that I had where people tried to trigger me was Patricia Steer, and then a situation that occurred with Nathan Oakley where he said some really mean things to me regarding a victimization that I had with Adam Joseph Daughtry. And that's kind of where it all, like everything, that's kind of where it all started, where it all
Yeah,
just said, yeah,
I
this is
well,
it.
I had been dropped by the flat Earth community, not too long before that. Just because I basically found evidence that was in contrary to everyone's dogmatic beliefs. I guess half these people now are monetarily invested heavily in this circling AE model. They've already made the T-shirts and the watches, and even though it's wrong. And I remember, I still said to Adam, repent or whatever, and everything should be okay. But I didn't know it was directly you. It's interesting to
Well,
hear.
I wasn't the only person that he did this to. Like the incident that came up with me. It was something that was like on a personal Skype call, and it just like everything that I'm talking about. I've also showed my therapist, by the way, and my therapist was the one that brought up to me, listen, they're right here. Look what this is happening right here. This person is doing this. This person is doing that. That person is, so and then once they show it to me and I see it, I'm like, oh wow, this is crazy, And then I know that I had the feeling that I had whenever he did what he did to me.
Hmm.
I mean, it was, I didn't physically see any kind of sexual organ. I just knew what he was doing. While I was talking, he was jacking off.
Wow.
He said something too, right? Like, just let me finish or something like that.
Yeah. He was just like, just let me finish, because he's like, keep talking. And I was like, what the? And so immediately I knew it was going on and I was triggered. And so like, I kind of like got real stuck. And fortunately, that day I just happened to was going to see my therapist, and I was kind of like in mid trigger, and so she was just like she helped me with it.
Can you explain to me what you mean by trigger, mid trigger, because I don't really.
So like with satanic ritual abuse, okay, so let's see if I can make this as short and as sweet and fast as possible. With satanic ritual abuse, during the abuse, when it happens with children. They do this to children. The children shatter and they create alters. They create multiple personalities.
Hmm.
Okay.
But they do this on purpose because they use the multi personalities in mind control things.
So they can sort of pick and choose, or I don't know that they pick and choose, but like a personality can be used for certain situations.
Correct. And like when that happens, like physically, like mentally, I don't know it's happening. Like there's been times when I've gone, especially when I was younger, I've gone years of losing time.
I'm losing time quickly too because I just don't pay attention to it and it disappears. But I know what you're talking about.
Well, when you have a person come up to you and they're like, hey, what's going on? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, who are you? I don't know you. Oh, you know me, blah, 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 and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry.
Oh, I see.
So like that's happened on more than 10 occasions with me. So,
I see. So
and
it
so
was
whenever whenever your true person, not these alters, come across this, it's real confusing.
Gotcha.
So with satanic ritual abuse, how you kind of, I guess, break free or get out is you start confronting and facing the fact that you was abused horribly, because you can't have this type of these alters, this split personalities, these different beings. You can't have that without that type of abuse. You just don't get it from somebody saying, "Hey, stupid, get over here." It doesn't work like that. You, in order to, all satanic ritual abuse is to produce alters, to produce different people. They
And
have even
fear.
families, like I was saying before, that are breeders. That's all they do, is they just breed children to be ritually abused, to be to be separated mentally, and they use these kids for everything. I mean, they grow up, they got to be adults. They use them for crisis actors. They use them for, and these people, they don't even know that they're doing this stuff. Because they're not, that it's an altar that's doing it, not them
How
physically.
how
I mean,
prevalent how prevalent do you think this is? Like,
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say
well, here's a question. So for like
20,
for
20% of the total population on the plane have been, of human beings now, have been satanically ritually abused. 90% are under mind control.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. Probably good stats. Just to,
what I
my
would say
guess.
the mind control is probably a bit higher than that. Because
90, though, because you got to understand, you got people like me that are waking up. See, that's what happened when you had the shift. When, remember back in 2012, that's when the shift started, really. Remember when they talked about the mind calendar and the
90% are
world
under
coming
mind
to an end
control.
and stuff? Well, it really did. It really did, and we shifted. And so people started waking up, especially the mind control victims. That's why this pedo gate and pedophile gate and everything is so big right now.
Well, that, and
Because you
because
got people.
they want to put it out there in your face and then say, "Well, we told you," you know.
Oh yeah, it's been going on forever. It's been going on forever, but this is the only difference that's different now, is they were asleep. They were asleep, and so people are starting to wake up now, and especially these satanically ritually abusing, and we are under attack. We are under attack, and we're gonna be. I'm probably in jeopardy. My life is probably in jeopardy for telling my story, but I'm at the phase now that I don't give a fuck.
yeah, there's nothing that's gonna
I
hold.
don't give a rat's ass. I've already been through hell. We're in hell right now. Right now where we live, we're in hell.
Well, I can tell you, I heard from a really wise man once. Ronnie, don't worry, because I used to get attacked a lot by the Satanists, and he told me, he said, "You know what, Ronnie?" He said, "I'll tell you this." He said, "This is the closest that most of those demons are ever going to get to heaven when they talk to you." And I was like, "Whoa." When he said that to me, yeah, I had to sit down, and I'm like, you know what? He's probably right. And I had compassion on these demons. I'm still trying to convert Lucifer, Satan. Lucifer is just a mockery of the fallen star.
Yeah, but you can't. You cannot, you can't have compassion. I know the reason why you have compassion is because they emulate humans.
No, I just think the type of being that I'm created as loves all. And
Because you cannot
that's the other
change a
thing with
demon. A
the other thing
demon
too.
cannot be changed to a good person.
Well, I'm going to leave that up to Yahushai. And, the other thing that I wanted to throw in here, I wanted to get both of your opinions because I respect
Okay.
both of you. Um, the vegan ploy, I see it slowly but surely creeping into almost like Nazi shaming. It's becoming like the Holocaust type talk. What do you guys think? Do you think that veganism is a lie from the devil? Teresa, we'll hear you first, then Jay, please.
Yes and no. I think it's a mind control thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because they show you the most deplorable things, which they do these things to animals to give us our meat. I'm not saying those things don't
Yeah,
happen.
yeah. I wasn't denying that. I'm just the way that the tactics. Okay, let's hear Jason's answer before I cut you guys off. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So my story is that once in flat Earth, I really learned it sort of through the Eric Dubay channel, and he's a vegan and was promoting that. My conscience did bother me, and so I went vegetarian. But I realized at that point how hard it would be to go vegan. During that process, I watched this interview, which I don't know its authenticity, 100%, but the Rabbi Finkelstein interview. He's a Jew and talks about things like the ritual satanic abuse where they do murder children, they do drain the blood out of these children, and then with all the rape, and then there's the murder, and that just for the extra shekels they give these bodies to food processing plants, and then they end up in McDonald's and places like that. And it had me super grossed out. But there were scientific articles, their validity in question as well. But they do say that in ground up meat, like ground up beef, there's a certain percentage of human DNA. Ground up chicken, ground up turkey, ground up pork. Well, ground up pork had like the highest amount of human DNA in it, which would make sense because the Jews don't eat pork. But out of all the things that they tested that had the highest amount of human DNA in it, it was the vegan products. So if you go vegan and you don't have the cheese, the eggs, you don't have the honey, that kind of stuff, most vegans will end up going to some sort of vegan substitute, and it's a who knows what concoction that comes out of some factory that's supposedly supposed to be all organic and
I don't
healthy.
understand about vegans. Plants are living they're living as well.
Amen,
Plants
sister. Amen. I was gonna say, who's caring about the plants? They're conscious, sentient beings too. Beautifully said, Teresa. Thank you.
They are. They've even shown I've seen videos where people have put their fingers up to a plant that they've had for a long time, and the plant comes toward them.
Yeah, and you can sing to your plant and it responds and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, you can be a mean person. They've done tests where mean people have been around plants and kind people have been around plants. Same thing with water. You can write love on a bottle and write hate on a bottle, and you'll see two different things come out of that water.
Well, see, Teresa, that's just another one of the 200 proofs that we live in a simulation.
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
So I basically, I've got a video about how they cure cancer, Teresa, and they do it with light. They use a stronger beam of light, and then they continue to shoot that same light beam at you for like 2 hours later on a low intensity. This is, it cures cancer. What our cells are all vibrating, so plant cells are no different. Like, some people might call me crazy or whatever, but one of the ways that I deal with the satanic ritual abuse is I go out and I talk to the trees and I garden. I put my hands in the
Yeah.
dirt. I go to the beach. I lay in the sun. And the other things that I try to do is I try to be kind to other people. Like, if I'm in a rush or whatever, I'm at the Tim Hortons at the coffee shop, I'll let somebody go ahead of me. And you know what's crazy? It's like 9 out of 10 times. Sorry, I didn't mean 9. I mean, like 2 out of 100 times, the person that I let go will actually buy me my coffee. And it's like so amazing. And then, what I've done is I've gone and I've been like, the person behind me, I'd like to buy her or him a coffee. And it's so amazing, that little $2 feeling,
Yeah.
Is Jason back? No, he's gone. So you basically knew. So you didn't know that I was brought into the Lori and Lawrence show to be shamed and to ridicule Pac-Man. And then, Jaron tried to have that debate with me that you heard.
Right.
So how long have you known?
Yeah.
So you've been a flat earther since early 2015?
I'm 2 years old.
Oh, you've been doing it for 2 years, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm surprised. I think I remember you commenting on some of my videos, and I was subscribed to you, but we never really crossed paths. Maybe because I was on that whole. You had that whole bad feeling with Lori.
I'm always a positive commenter. I'm always with flat earthers. I always am trying to leave a pot. I can guarantee you this: that probably people that are listening that know me are probably shocked to hear the things that I've been saying, because I've always been real positive and I'm still being positive. I'm not saying that I hate her. I just don't like deception.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Nor do
There's
we.
a lot of flat earthers that they bring in. But here's one thing that I do got to say about this too, is once a liar, always a liar. And
Oh, I put my hand up and go, yes, I know what that's all about. I'm going through a divorce right now
you
because
lie to me, I cannot trust you. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how nice you are after that. It's just that I cannot trust you. That's just me. I'm not telling anybody else not to trust anybody, but I just can't trust you. So, it's sad to me that about this convention, because there's going to be a lot of real human beings, flat earthers, that are going to be brought into this, and some things are going to go down at this convention, and it's not going to turn out well for the real human beings, the real people.
I'm going to be surprised, and I've said this a couple of times.
It's sad to me because, and it is a warning, and I really wanted to go. I really wanted to go, but God showed me, and he showed me in dreams, and he had people come to me that weren't even flat earthers to tell me, no, please don't go, nothing good, this is what's going to happen. And then I was shown in my dreams, and I will tell what's going to happen. What's going to happen is they're going to have people on the outside. They're not going to be in there where you can see them as a flat earther. As a real human being, flat earther, you're not going to be able to see these people. They're going to be outside. If you notice all the time, Mark Sargent's talking about, well, media's going to be there. Well, yeah, media's going to be there, but they're not going to be interviewing the real flat earthers. They're going to be out there with those people that are wearing the tinfoil hat, that are going to make us look like idiots, they're going to make us look threatening. They've already said, already, the president, Neil deGrasse Tyson, this is not good. These people are dangerous. Why would they say things like that unless they want to set this stuff up? The money is a big price. That's a big, big, big price. One thing that I can say as Jehovah's Witness, unless I didn't know about it, I don't think we were charged anything to go to the convention. We had to pay for our hotel rooms and stuff like that. But when they had big conventions, I don't think we were charged to go to the convention.
Well, yeah, and Jason was telling me before that, you know, when they would set up different Jehovah communities, that like 100 or 200 men, I can't remember the number that you said, you guys would just smash off like what, the mess hall, the church, the community area.
Do you remember the quick build projects of the Kingdom Halls?
Yeah, they would build up Kingdom Halls in a weekend.
See, that's beautiful.
2 days with 2,000 people.
And not one person, people would just bring, you know, like sack lunches and stuff like that. Or they'd have, you know, like people would bring stuff enough for, you know, people, and they'd just have a big meal, you know, and stuff like that. There were good things that happened now. That, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, what happened to street parties?
But
Did y'all?
Saying,
sorry.
Go ahead, Ronnie.
I know that a convention shouldn't cost me, because it would have cost me to fly for the convention and to stay at the hotel. It would have cost me upwards of $600 and something. Okay, I'm on disability.
Yeah, and we've already
been $800 a month.
We've already been told by Bob and others not to expect any sort of like new information, that it's really just an opportunity to hang out and buy swag.
Well, yeah, that autographs and meet other people. But here's the thing that they don't understand. They're making it a media event. And anytime you pull in media, you pulling in Satan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're pulling in the exact people that you don't want to be a part of. Neil deGrasse Tyson will never debate Mark Sargent. Neil deGrasse Tyson will never talk to a real flat earther. That's fake.
Well, he's a simulation theorist, you know, at the end of the day. And, you know, Mark Sargent is the last person. When I became a flat earther, Math Powerland was screaming that, you know, this is the one thing that will not be televised with spokesman up there speaking for you. And, you know, that was one of the main motivations why I got into flat earth. And, you know, just to be honest with you, Teresa, I was thinking about putting on a convention at the CN Tower, and then we were going to go up at like almost 1,200 feet in the air and observe the flat plane that we live on, and to rent the projection room to have really high quality, high sound, excellent presentations was going to be expensive, but we could have done it 1,100 feet in the air. And, you know, this is the type of convention with, you know, outstanding flat earth proofs and breakneck information that you've never seen before. And that's what me and Jason with Beyond Flat Earth are trying to do. And I cannot tell you how censored I am, Teresa. My videos I can watch, I get more hits. I get hundreds of views on Stumbled Upon in hours, and my YouTube says I get 30 views. And I don't care about money. I don't care about the views. These satanic people, they need to know that the truth will be coming out, and it will not be spoken from them. And, you know, again, you know, keep with the love with the ground and nature. And, you know, I'm just really thankful that you joined us today, Teresa. I'm not going to hang up now. I just really felt the need to say that, you know, these are the things that I want at a convention. What would you like to see at a convention, Teresa?
I just want it to be so really close to nature, just like you said. You know, I mean, initially things don't have to cost that much money, you know.
Well, you and I
that do have it, you know, real people that really are really true flat earthers and that are real people will share that.
You and I
And they'll
had this
from a
conversation.
loving heart, and they're not going to announce it and publicize it. If if somebody knows that a person is in need or needs help, or even if it's just support prayer wise, and stuff like that, there should be no problems, and with the convention, of course you want people from an international to get together and stuff like that, but even the people that are close together aren't getting together.
Well, that's what you and I talked about in a phone call recently, is how, as far as a convention or a get together would be concerned, why can't we have it at a beach and have a bonfire and a barbecue,
Yeah,
or a
don't look at
park, or
them and like, it don't cost nothing to go sit down at the beach. Even okay, yeah, it's close to me, and stuff like that. I'm just gonna use my example. You come here to Galveston after 6 o'clock, you don't even have to pay for parking to come to the beach. Just like you said, set up a bonfire or something like that, and camp out.
yeah,
Why can't you camp out?
yeah, because it's about the social interaction, getting to know each other, have that personal connection, and
I already know the Earth is flat. You know what I'm saying? I've known for 2 years.
yep.
As soon as I heard it, I connected. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. It didn't have to take me no convincing. It didn't have to do any of that stuff like that. I was like, finally, what I was thinking was correct.
Yep. Yeah, so we do need that personal connection with people. Now, I do not trust the people behind this popular flat earth convention thing, because the guy who's putting it on, the organizer, Ravi something from Celebrate Truth, he's another person that's accused of Bitcoin scamming, just like Jaron. So they're shady swindlers, the people behind this, and the research that Ronnie and I have been doing has pointed out that Jaron is involved in satanic stuff. The last video that I put out shows that him and Missa have or had a website where they sell magical things, bat's blood, potions, witchcraft, crystal balls. This is what they deal in. They are Satanists, and he's accused of Bitcoin scamming. So I really think that Flat Earth Convention is nothing but another scam, just looking to fleece the flock. I don't even know that it's going to happen.
Yeah, and if it does,
like I told you, the dream that I had is they're going to have it set up where the flat earthers will be on the inside, going to the little ritual. You know what I'm saying? Because it is a ritual. They're going to have like a Emmy Awards, the Flatties and stuff like that, simulating a satanic ritual.
Yeah, and they'll give the awards out to the other Satanists that are involved in their scam.
It is a satanic ritual, and and these are all content creators and stuff like that. When there's, I don't hear them acknowledging the people the real flat earthers, not one person can sit here and say that they've ever heard me not support anyone that was in flat earth.
No, I've seen you in the chats. You've been
I've
very active.
I've always got something kind to say. I've always got something nice to say. Even when I'm telling my truth that I understand about Patricia and what I see and stuff like that, I'm not being mean. I'm just telling the truth from what I see.
Mm-hmm.
But she's gonna make it coming off as like, oh, I can't believe this. I thought we were all this and I thought we were all that. No, you're just making that it's a deception that you're trying to get over.
Mm-hmm.
The one person broke into my the other day. She private messaged me, and because I didn't answer their questions the way they wanted me to answer her questions. Then she breaks into my Facebook account. There's only one person in Houston that I know that could break into my account, and that's it. There's only one person, and it's her, or at least people that she knows.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to
Yeah.
go and change my password so they couldn't get into because I unfriended her. I'm not
Mhm.
going to sit there and have you as my friend so you can sit there and spy on my ass.
Yeah. Well, they can spy
Well,
on us no
I
matter
know
what.
that we could probably talk for many, many hours, but we but
Yeah.
we do try
Sorry.
to keep our hangouts to under 2 hours. So
Oh, Lord. How long has it been?
it's like an hour 45.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay.
I would like to say, is there anything that you would like to say, sort of like in closing? Talk about your new videos that you're making. Anything else that you have in the works?
Yeah, I'm starting. It's all under my name. I tell the truth about everything. My videos are under Teresa Gordon on YouTube, and I'm just starting to make them. So give me time. It takes a lot to tell this type of story.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to put out at least a video a day now and tell my story. The next video that I put out is going to have to do with Jehovah's Witnesses and the cult and my experiences of dealing with cult life and, mind control and stuff like that. But my whole purpose behind this is just to tell my story, get it out. Once you get it out and get it publicized, then you get it off of you.
Mm-hmm.
Or I get it off of me, excuse me. But I hope I can help somebody. I hope my story can help somebody to be able to, go and seek treatment as well and get help and to get their mind back out of the control web that it's in.
All right. Well, thank you, Teresa. Ronnie, anything that I can be looking forward to from you?
Well, yeah, I'd like to say that I made some huge breakthroughs today with the Blender Studio, Jason, and I've kind of been keeping some of these things from the left, from the right hand. As soon as the night of the 7th, there is going to be an amazing, easy to understand, and visibly get map and working model of reality. And, I just want to thank you, Jason, because without you and without all of your guidance and without you too, Teresa, for everything that you've helped and done behind the scenes, we might not have talked before, but you have helped me, and I really appreciate your fight for the truth. And I can't wait for you to see the video that's going to be coming out on, like I said, on the night of the 7th. Stay tuned. Beyond Flat Earth, we are going to take it there.
Can I say one thing real fast?
Oh, you sure?
Just real
You sure?
quick.
You sure can.
Today is Conspiracy Mystic Evelyn Bauer's birthday. I just want to wish her a happy birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I wanted to say.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Teresa.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. This has been Beyond Flat Earth.
Y'all take care. Y'all take care. Love each other. Read some scriptures. And stay tuned.